Hello, this is Brian. I'm at the lake. Today's video is going to be an introduction to the USPS website and the 3 reasons I go out to it. Arrange curbside pickup, order shipping supplies, and start the process of finding a package that has gone missing. Now, I've got another video on this same topic. The other video is much longer. It's going to go into page by page, showing you how the data goes in the blocks, the kinds of packaging and shipping material you can order from the post office, and a bit more about finding your tracking information on a lost package and the other services are available. This is a short overview. So if you finish this one and you decide it's a topic you need more information about, check out our playlist, look for the longer video. It'll pop up at the end of this video and give you a connection right over to it. If this video was enough to solve your immediate concerns about the USPS website, pick another video off our playlist. We're adding to that playlist constantly. We're trying to cover many of the reseller topics that you may be concerned about, because they're topics that I was concerned about as I expanded my reselling business. Packing, shipping, glitches, some of the items you should be sourcing, the way you can buy at auction. Lots of topics, lots of information. So check out the video. At the end, it'll take you to a more detailed video if you need it. And today's video topic, and I say that because it revolves around the United States Postal Service, the USPS website, and how it acts as a portal into several programs. It does have some restrictions, it does have some limitations, and it is being run by the USPS. So you'll have to take what I say with a grain of salt. I say it's a positive thing because it can save you time and it can save you money. When it gets to the point where we're talking about the programs that are on the USPS website, we'll do that recording and I'll show you what I'm talking about right on the screen. If there gets to be a spot where it's a bit complicated or you didn't catch it the first time, you can back it up and you can replay it. And now, on some systems like my big screen TV, you can actually save these videos so that you can look back at them in the future when you're actually in need of the information. I've got a video up in the playlist that shows how I changed my YouTube channel settings the other day and how I updated my big screen TV in the living room so that I can use those features that are now available. Check that out if you think you might want to refer to some videos, mine or anyone else's, in the future. I'm down in front of my photo studio and we're going to be talking about using the USPS website and shipping, how it can be integrated and advantageous with your reselling. And I'm going to use eBay, but this translates to the others. It also integrates with the other parts of your business. Now, primarily for us, most of the shipping goes out USPS these days, and most of it goes out USPS Ground Advantage. But these are the 3 reasons I normally find myself on their website. The most common, daily, 6 days a week anyway, is curbside pickup. From Monday through Saturday, if that's when your regular mail delivery is, you can have pickups made right at your door. And it doesn't matter how many packages. The bigger your volume, the more important that is. This program is run on a day-to-day basis. If you don't schedule the pickup, they don't stop for your packages. So you can do this on days when you can tell your package quantity is up there and you don't feel like driving into town. Or if you're injured or recovering from something and you can't get into town, you can use this program. The second reason to go onto the website is to order postal supplies. The third thing is for missing mail. This is the portal where you can start trying to track your packages and figure out why they haven't made it to your buyer. Most resellers would tell you the whole priority program is about obsolete, but there are instances, and I probably do one of these a week anymore, of when priority is still my preferred choice. Okay, the big distinction between the 2 kinds of priority was regular priority, which you were charged by size and weight, and they gave you the boxes. Your other choice was the flat rate boxes, and I'll show you those in a second. So this one was typically called the shoe box. And before Ground Advantage, this was about the cheapest way to send a pair of shoes. This next one isn't very big, would hold something like a small book if it was terribly expensive, but again, not much volume. Then you had envelopes. The post office has a whole series of envelopes. These happen to be made from almost a Tyvek material. They're very strong, but they also had some marked up priority legal and regular envelope. And you wanted insurance because first class didn't come with insurance. You often shipped items priority. Well, when they created Ground Advantage, one of the things they added to the merged program was insurance. So you could ship an item cheaper than priority, and it would be tracked and it would be insured. This one is the padded envelope. I think the current price on one of these is about $9 if you're getting your eBay discount, a little more if you take one to the counter. And the way these all work, this one's a small flat rate, and over here is a medium flat rate. So they have different volume, and they cost a different flat rate amount to ship. But they'll basically go anywhere in the country at a set price. And their motto, their early advertising motto was, if it fits, it ships. So I could put something that weighed 20 pounds into one of these, or I could put it in a box and then slide it inside this padded envelope. And if I could get it in there without tearing out the edges or cutting it, it would ship at a set rate, which made listing on eBay very easy. If you had a small but heavy object and you knew that it could fit in one of these, you knew what you were going to have to charge the buyer. This one folds up, and it's not much bigger once it's folded than a VHS tape. They come flat packed, and then, it's like an origami project. It turns itself into a box, like a Transformer toy. You can see it here. But what we're going to look at while we're here is how to get to the website for the USPS and how to schedule a curbside pickup. To get to it, to log in, I just type USPS package pickup, and this comes up as a choice, schedule a pickup. And it takes us to this page. I've already logged in today to schedule a pickup, but that's the first thing you would have to do. You would have to register to use the website. And like all website registrations, they want the common information, name, address, that type of thing. And then you schedule a pickup. And then the screen pops up to say it's been scheduled, and it gives you all this information like weight and date and type. All right, that's how that part of the system works. Now let's go over and find another section. Now if you go to this portion, which is on the Quick Tools bar, you can see that this is where you can check the tracking, find out about informed delivery, schedule a redelivery, hold your mail, change your address, that type of admin. And there's all sorts of links and information here. Intercept mail, hold the mail, hold it for pickup. It's all here. It's not why we normally come to this website. You can also do international shipping from here, though I ship internationally through the eBay. You can buy your stamps, you can get your shipping supplies, you can get your collectibles and gifts, you can get business supplies. So all these things are available by the post office. But some of them cost you money. Some are free, some you pay for. All right, so let's go shopping and say shipping supplies. Back in the day before Ground Advantage, this is where you went to find most of your free priority packaging. It still is, because most post offices don't stock a wide range of free priority packaging. But most sellers these days aren't looking for priority packaging, so it doesn't really matter. But as long as I'm here, we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of shopping. Here's the padded envelope. Here's the one I showed you out on my workbench. A pack of 10, cost $0. You log into here, it will allow you to order 10 packs of 10. So you simply add this to the cart and then go through the checkout process. All right, so here's your padded flat rate. Here's your small flat rate envelope. Here's your other flat rate envelopes, legal envelopes, and here's that small flat rate box that folds up to be about the size of a VHS box. Here's your Tyvek. These are not flat rate, so watch out for that. It's got to say flat rate to ship under the flat rate program. Here's your medium. That's about the biggest flat rate box I use these days. Well, it's about the biggest postal box I use these days because everything else ships cheaper, either FedEx, UPS, or through the Ground Advantage program. Because remember, you cannot use these free boxes to ship Ground Advantage. Now here are some other things you can get your hands on. Certified mail labels, for ship boxes for shipping cremated remains. Here's a large priority mailbox, but again, this is not flat rate, so you're going to pay by the pound and the destination distance. And you can see there's several pages here. So you can keep looking through here. But you've got clothing boxes, you got boxes to go to the military, you got windowed envelopes if you're doing an automated process. You got the shoebox I showed you. And you'll notice that most of these items are free. Some of these items, this is a prepaid flat rate envelope, so if you know you're going to have a use for them and you hear the rates are going up, right, you might want to get yourself some of these before the price jumps. Here's what they call the side loading boxes. We call them clothing boxes, but they come in different sizes. Here's your certified mail receipt forms, packing cartons. Here's a military care kit, so you've got different boxes to go out to the military. Heavy labels, again, free. Here's your packing tape, but look at this price. Here's your triangular boxes. If you don't want to make up your own boxes for shipping golf clubs and baseball bats, and you don't want to use a FedEx program, because FedEx has similar boxes and they'll give them to you, or at least mine does. You pay a little bit more than you used to before the post office put on a surcharge for overlength, but I still find FedEx to be the way to go these days. Second page, bubble packing, but again, I would not pay $27 for that little bit of bubble. Customs declaration pouches. Ready Post foam-handled tape guns, but you can find it, I think, cheaper than you can here. Anyway, as you go down through here, you'll see what I'm talking about. Priority mail, rolls of 250. This is the one I kept around, and I would just use it whenever I either wanted to make a brown or white box, say priority, or if I wanted to use a discontinued regional box and mark it for regular priority. But anyway, that's it. So this is the website. It's useful, especially if you're going to order curbside service. I enjoy curbside service. There are some issues with it, though, beyond the fact that you have to have a Ground Advantage priority package to qualify, and you can't ship just eBay standard envelopes or medium. And in the past, what I've done, typically, if I have a good packing day, I'll hold over one of the last Ground Advantage packages, and I'll just let it sit. And I'll hold it overnight, and if I don't get any overnight sales other than media or eBay standard, I then know I have the item to qualify because I've kept it. The other thing is that occasionally, when I have substitute carriers, they simply blow off the pickup. They either can't find the box and don't want to bother stopping to ask, or they're late on their route and they're in a hurry. So even though I schedule curbside pickup 6 days a week, and my regular carrier simply treats that deck box as my mailbox, so she pulls in to drop off anything that's incoming and then picks up the outgoings, she doesn't even look at my request anymore. She just uses it as my mailbox. So on a night when I'm busy or tired and I forget to put in my pickup, she still pulls in and does the pickup. Sometimes, however, the substitutes don't. Or occasionally I'll get a substitute who, instead of just simply scanning all the packages and sending me the note that says your pickup was done successfully, instead I'll get a note that says your pickup was done but your package count was off. Every time that happens, I mention it to my regular carrier, and she says, don't worry about it. If I had a long weekend and Tuesday was the first pickup and my regular carrier wasn't doing the route and a substitute blew off the pickup, I'd sometimes still have to run to town and drop off the packages that accumulated over the weekend, simply because I did not want them sitting here. And I wanted to make sure that if I had that carrier 2 days in a row, that I didn't exceed my store shipping setting. I like to see my packages go usually within a day or the next day. Well, I hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions, if you have any concerns, if I didn't understand any part of the video, please drop me a comment or give me a suggestion for future videos. And if you decide to be a reseller on eBay or any of the other platforms, consider curbside pickup. It's not perfect. In fact, we had to go recover the bin of packages today because obviously we had a temp. He blew it off because Rose found mail in the little box marked 341. And that's always a clear sign that we had a fill-in who didn't know the program, who wasn't following the plan. It works, 6 days a week, most weeks, and month in, month out, it saved me an awful lot of time and money. This is Brian. We're at the lake. Go out and sell something.
That was easy.
Now we've got videos on those other topics up in our playlist on this channel, which of course is Cabin Fever. So if you're interested in these other things like sourcing, listing, packing, where to get your shipping supplies, storage and inventory, take a look at our playlist for some other videos.